Every now and again, we run into a situation where two conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes cause feelings of discomfort. This is defined as cognitive dissonance, often leading to the feeling that something just isn't right or that there's been a glitch in the matrix. The human brain is made up of approximately 100 billion neurons, generating minute electrical impulses that send signals from one part of the brain to the next. And as we navigate life and create experiences, we're able to recall said experiences and relive moments that have become part of our past. However, as we create new experiences, we learn that perfection is not part of the equation, and this includes our ability to remember things exactly as they were, in spite of the feelings we attach to those memories. In fact, our perfectly imperfect memory has allowed us to collectively remember events in ways that they didn't occur, and in more extreme circumstances, remember events that have never occurred at all. One of the most popular examples of this happening occurred between 2009 and 2010, when thousands, if not millions of people remembered that Nelson Mandela had died in prison in the 1980s, despite him actually being alive and well at the time. As the cognitive dissonance set in across millions of people learning that Nelson Mandela was alive, many still haven't been able to figure out why so many people remembered this event occurring in the first place. Objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear. For anyone who's ever driven a vehicle or looked into a side view mirror of a car, you would have seen this exact statement printed on the mirror. Except, you've never seen this exact statement before. In fact, the actual statement is, objects in mirror are closer than they appear. And I implore you to go check your side mirror if you remember it differently. Or perhaps you remember the old Fruit of the Loom logo having a cornucopia, except there's never been a cornucopia, just fruit. But how is it possible that so many people recalled Nelson Mandela's death occurring in the 80s? Or the fact that Sinbad played in a movie called Shazam in the 90s? We're tied to the memories we have because they're directly linked to experience. Imagine someone trying to convince you that Duracell's mascot is a pink bunny when you know for a fact that you've seen the Energizer Bunny in commercials your entire life. Seeing those commercials are part of your core experience, and thus you're able to recall seeing the Energizer Bunny with confidence. But this is the part where I tell you that Duracell's mascot is a pink bunny. And if at any point when imagining Duracell having said mascot felt like a lie, imagine actually remembering something that never happened and being told that it never happened. It would too feel like a lie. What is the difference between a memory and a belief? Well, memories are based on recollection and are independent of events taking place, and beliefs are what we accept as true. Both of these things combined give us the unfortunate ability to remember things differently than they occurred, and can cause us to remember events that have never happened, aka false memories. Now, when recalling events and or telling a story, we sometimes omit information for one reason or another, and the more we recall the story, the more we believe the details that align with our beliefs about the event. For example, when we tell stories to others about negative events where we felt justified in our actions, but our actions may be seen as the cause of said negative events. We may omit details that align with our beliefs about the event, and as we continue to tell the story with those details omitted, we may forget that those details ever existed, creating a false memory about the event. This is a defense mechanism that preserves our own beliefs about events that cause us to feel victimized. This is called retroactive falsification. Now, in the past, we believed that long-term memory functioned like a DVR, recording events exactly as they occurred for us to play back when we needed to recall them. We now understand that this couldn't be further from the truth. And to give you an example of how malleable our long-term memory is, cognitive psychologist Elizabeth Loftus conducted an experiment which proved that long-term memory could be influenced by current events. Students were shown a video of a car crash, and when interviewing the students about the video, she noticed that the students recalled the car crash in different ways depending on how she asked her questions. If she asked the students how fast the cars were going when they smashed into each other, the students would recall the cars crashing at a high rate of speed. And when she asked the students how fast the cars were going when they bumped into each other, the students would recall the cars crashing at a low rate of speed. This proved that no matter how many people may witness an event, influences from external sources may cause one to remember an event differently, creating a false memory. And this is known as the misinformation effect. Unfortunately, we may fall victim to recalling something that may have never occurred, whether it be because someone else recalled the event and shared it with you, or because someone wants you to believe something that isn't true. This is often the case in legal situations where eyewitness testimony is needed, and sometimes through questioning and/or interrogation, the police may suggest that certain events may have occurred in order to fill in a needed gap during an investigation. Simply put, if you repeatedly tell someone that they participated in a past event that never occurred, the more confidence they'd have in the event actually being true, and they may even go as far as tying the memory to an existing one. This is known as imagination inflation. And lastly, we have what's known as source monitoring errors. This occurs when you remember something but not the source that it corresponds with. This removes one's ability to evaluate information presented to them and may cause them to falsely assign memories to incorrect sources. In extreme circumstances, some may even recall events from things that they've imagined, leading them to believe that the imaginary events actually took place. One or more of these phenomena combined create Mandela effects, and in my humble opinion, the misinformation effect, imagination inflation, and source monitoring errors are the biggest culprits. Since Mandela effects are either distortions of real events or imaginary events, when presented with one, we can apply one or more of the memory influences to understand them better. The reason why we remember Sinbad playing in a movie called Shazam can be attributed to imagination inflation and source monitoring errors. In 1994, Sinbad hosted a movie marathon where he dressed up as a genie, and due to source monitoring errors, many assigned this event to the memory of Kazam, a movie about a genie starring Shaquille O'Neal, which released in 1996. This also explains why people claim that Shazam released before Kazam, since Sinbad was seen in a genie costume 2 years before Shaq. And as this information spread from person to person, this boosted confidence in the event, resulting in many people believing that they too saw Shazam, even going as far as sharing details about the imaginary film. But what about the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia? This one is related to the misinformation effect, like many Mandela effects involving images. Mandela effects involving images point out very specific details. For example, if I show you the image of the Fruit of the Loom logo with the cornucopia and ask you directly if you remember it being present, my phrasing is very suggestive, which will have a much stronger influence on your memory. The fact that you've seen the Fruit of the Loom logo in the past, plus my suggestion of it having a cornucopia, may cause you to remember it being how I suggested it, even more so if my suggestion is based on a subtle detail. I'm sorry to inform anyone watching that Mandela effects are not proof of alternate universes, and nor is the government attempting to change history for their own nefarious purposes. What this proves is that despite what we believe, our memories are simply not one-to-one recollections of our experiences, and sometimes our memories may not even belong to us.